It seemed like just another morning. I woke and thought, what to do, what to do? Then, and I don't know why this struck me, but I thought, perhaps I'll get out of bed. I know this seems crazy now, but then I was just in that particular mood where anything seemed reasonable. I got up quickly, and only later did I stop to consider what I had done. I was proud. Perhaps now I had paved the way for mankind, but the most satisfying thought was that perhaps it might be easier for me next time.
Yes, she was witty. She was intelligent. She was born of high station. She spoke well and walked proudly. She was the kind who displayed nobility, who showed style and class. But above all, she had the jugs. Many people called her by her last name. Some closer friends had a confidence with her and shared the intimacy of her first name. But not me. She was always Lady Jugs of Plenty. It is true, she was clever and she was charming, but above all, she had the jugs.
You were walking down a country road. It is a quiet afternoon. You look up, and far, far down the road, and you see someone walking towards you. You are surprised to have noticed someone so far away, but you keep walking, expecting nothing more than a friendly nod as you pass. He gets closer. You see he has bright orange hair. He is closer. A white satin suit spotted with coloured dots. Closer, a painted white face and red lips. You and he are 50 yards apart. You and a fully fledged clown holding a bicycle horn are 20 yards apart. You approach on the lonely country road. You nod. He honks and passes.
These were not your average contented cows. They were cows born for trouble. They were not cows who could stand by and let people just call them bossy. No. These were cows who could be just as happy chewing someone else's cud as their own. These were renegade cows. My first experience with the renegade cows began one day as I was admiring a particularly attractive cow at Johnson's weed farm. As I stood there watching her sultry body moving lithely through the rushes, I noticed several other cows staring at me through the weeds, giving me that look that only a cow can give. Later that night, I was at home thinking over the day's events, mainly about the rubber duck throwing contest and the parade that followed, but now I realise I should have been analysing the glare of those cows I'd seen earlier that day. The doorbell rang. I opened the door, glad to have a visitor, but then found myself face to face with 3 renegade cows. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't have seen their eyes behind the dark glasses. They just ambled in, and wisely, I didn't try to stop them. All night long they just stood around my bed, looking at me, and I guess you could say I finally learned my lesson. Don't fool with renegade cows.
I, for one, am going to know what to say when the ducks show up. I've made a list of phrases, and although I don't know which one to use yet, they're all good enough to use even if they show up tomorrow. Many people won't know what to say when the ducks show up, but I will. Maybe I'll say, "Oh, wonderful ducks." I practice these sayings every day, and even though the ducks haven't come yet, when they do, I'll know what to do.
When I woke up that morning, it didn't take me long to realise there were dogs in my nose. I could hear their muffled barks. I could feel their playful vibrations. It's not dangerous to have dogs in your nose. In fact, it's quite all right to leave them there for an hour or so. But in this case, because they got in there without permission, I decided to expel them immediately, coaxing them out with a piece of hamburger. The dogs popped out and landed on the floor. They shook their little floppy ears and bounded off. I was amused and thought about the prospect of some future wary traveller awakening to find they had dogs in their nose.
Many people call her by her last name.
I know this seems crazy now.
Maybe I'll say, "Oh, wonderful ducks."
What to do? What to do?
I'll know what to do.
He honks. He honks. You nod.
She was always Lady Jugs of Plenty.
Mainly about the rubber duck throwing contest and the parade that followed.
It's not dangerous to have dogs in your nose.
And I guess you could say I finally learned my lesson.